Thanks to the support as a channel member, Jack Watson. We have the opportunity to set ourselves up for the greatest football match in history, a potential North London derby Champions League final. We face Chelsea in one semi-final. Spurs have got Man City in the other one. I'm actually cheering Spurs on today because that dream Champions League final, we need to make it happen. Is it okay if I reload? We can't reload. Okay, noted. And there is your confirmation of how things are set up. So Man City against Spurs, Chelsea against Arsenal. We're up first on the Tuesday night. We've got the away leg against Chelsea. Then tomorrow night, it's Man City at home to Spurs. And then second half of the episode, we flip. We do the second legs. And fingers crossed tomorrow, have my first Champions League final of FM26. And we do need to win the Champions League because in the league, things have continued to be patchy, I think it's fair to say. We've had a couple of draws since that Barcelona win in the last episode, which means if we ever were actually in with any kind of realistic title race chance, it is now long gone. 4 games left. We're 11 points behind Liverpool. We're still so far clear of everybody else. We are guaranteed that second place, so we are going to get another crack at it next year. And we have already qualified for next season's Champions League and been given what I would describe as a very small budget. Budget doesn't live in finances anymore, does it? It lives in, there you go, 33.5 million. Doesn't feel like it's a lot, but yeah, I guess we're going to have to sell to buy over the summer or just hope that the squad that we've got is young enough to continue to improve and somehow challenge Liverpool. But if we're doing it as Champions League holders, I think that's a nice position to be in. And this is our team for that Champions League semi-final first leg. And unfortunately, we're going to have to do it without the hero of the quarterfinal. Miles Lewis-Skelly has picked up a knock. Our squad, or at least our Champions League squad, is so small that he's going to have to sit on the bench anyway, and we still can't fully fill a bench. We've got a number of unregistered players. I mean, these are definitely the guys we're going to be looking to move on in the summer. Kepa, Marino, Norgard, Trossard, Jesus. If we sell all them, that might be 150 million pounds worth of investment that we can then pour into the rest of the squad. But this is the starting 11. We've got Costa in goal, a back four of Hincapié, Gabriel, Saliba and Timber, Tchouaméni and Rice in midfield, Martinelli on the left, Saka on the right, and Odegaard in behind, Ramos up top. Gyökeres also injured, fit enough to be on the bench, but not back in full training for 4 days. So it's touch and go whether we even have Gyökeres back for the second leg, but we're certainly going to have to do it without him for the first leg. He is our top scorer, Lewis-Skelly, like I say, the hero of the last round. But what we have to remember is we are comfortably ahead of Chelsea in the league, so we know we're a better team than them. Obviously, they do have a little bit more of a Champions League pedigree than we do, though. And of course, are the reigning Club World Cup holders as well, so they know their way around knockout football, even in their current form, where they have very few actual Champions League winners left. But we have to be hopeful. Yes, it's a shame that we're without Lewis-Skelly and Gyökeres, but we do have very adequate replacements for both of them in Hincapié and Ramos. If you're wondering where Calafiori is, we sold him back in January a couple of days ago. I know people will be very confused about why Calafiori is not even getting a mention if you missed that episode, but we did sell him to fund our January transfer business. I don't want to say we sold him so we could bring in Mason Mount, who's not even getting in the team. But if you studied just the maths, it could look a little bit like that. We did have a bigger, grander plan that fell through. Go back and watch the episode, but we did have a bigger, grander plan that fell through, and Mason Mount was our consolation prize. He is useful as a backup player in a lot of positions, and that is useful. Going 1-0 up away from home in a Champions League semi-final. It's Odegaard with the goal. Martinelli doing good work down this left-hand side. I'm very much sticking to my theory that wide players are where matches are won and lost in FM26, at least at this point. You need a good set of wingers. You need some decent fullbacks to try and counter the opposition's wingers, and everything else you can just kind of plug the gaps with whatever you've got lying around. But if you've got the best wide players, you'll do quite well. And I think that's where this Arsenal squad is pretty strong. We've got very good fullbacks. We've obviously got Saka on one side. Martinelli looks like a world beater on this side, even though we did try and replace him in January with Nico Williams. But yeah, we're looking pretty strong. Declan Rice trying to lead things forward from central midfield, and now Martinelli back to Hincapié, and now Rice to Odegaard. This is some nice football. Rice now playing it through to Ramos, who's very deep, but Odegaard's made the run. Ramos plays it through to him, and that should have been 2-0. That was a huge opportunity. That was an easier one than the one he's just scored. It was lovely work from Ramos, dropped off a little bit to get involved in the build-up play, and then a lovely pass through to Odegaard. Great run from him, and unfortunately, lacking a little bit of composure, it has to be said, and it remains just 1-0. To be fair, it does remain 1-0, thanks to Odegaard scoring, so we can't be too hard on him, but we could be 2-0 up. Right, Timber. Last chance before half-time. We've got about 30 seconds left. It's Saka who does miss out on the ball. Garnacho coming away with it for Chelsea. And now they have got an opportunity for a counter-attack. It's João Pedro playing it back out to Garnacho on that left-hand side. He's entered the penalty area, plays it back to Caicedo. And now Enzo Fernandez slots it back into Garnacho. And I think Costa's got fingertips on that. It's definitely hit the post, but I think Costa's made the save. In fact, there's an offside earlier in the move. And the highlight continues. So are we going to go up the other end and score now? This would be a hammer blow to Chelsea if we did. No, it's just half time, and Martinelli, I mean, he literally had the ball and is still first off the pitch. That man loves an orange segment. Right, chaps, just keep doing what you're doing. Has been an excellent performance so far. We would be very happy if we go into the second leg at home in the lead in the match. We don't really need to do anything extravagant in this second half. Just, like I say, keep this up. It has been, I mean, look at the match stats. It's been an excellent performance from us so far. Chelsea limiting themselves to just that one opportunity that they managed to blow, although they are getting another one here. I don't even see who took that shot. It was João Pedro who was originally involved in it. I think it might have been Cole Palmer who ended up hitting it from range, kind of took it off Pedro's foot. And luckily, it was a little bit wild and went over Costa. But Chelsea have certainly started the second half stronger than their entirety of the first half. They've already created more XG in the first 15 minutes of this than they had in the previous 45. And Cole Palmer is doing a little bit of a dance over there as he plays the ball in short to Neto from the corner. It goes past Saliba. Why is Saliba out there? Oh, dear. There's many questions to ask there. Why is Saliba the one who's been chasing out for the short corner? How did he let Pedro Neto go past him that easily? And how has he then managed to score from that angle? I mean, it's a fantastic individual effort. Very well worked set piece from Chelsea. But why is Saliba the one who's going out there for the short corner? I mean, that's Hincapié's job, surely. Well, and now they've got another corner. They've got a man short again. And this time it's Tchouaméni who's going short, which is a little bit more sensible. I mean, he's been absolutely turned inside out the way Saliba was. But they're now floating it back in. And I thought they'd scored again. They're doing us with set pieces. This is not okay. Right. We have got some tired legs. We obviously play quite a high-tempo system, and we have got some tired boys out there. We're going to take off Odegaard and bring on... I can't bring on Mason Mount. Eze's right there. We're going to bring on Eze. We are going to change a lot of the attack, though, actually. Is Gyökeres fit enough to bring on? Not really. And we don't really have another striker. I mean, Martinelli could go up top, but I think we leave Ramos on. I think we take off Saka to rest him. Wanyeri can come on for Saka. And then we'll take off Tchouaméni for Zubimendi. And Mason Mount has to wait on the bench a little bit longer before he can come on and try and make an impact against his former club. Of course, the club that he was in the Champions League with the team, right? I think he did win the Champions League with them. So yeah, he'll probably have quite the motivation to put in a performance today. It looks like we're just trying to kill the game. I think Hincapié's tiring. But again, we don't have that strength in depth that we started the season with because I've sold it all. We can bring on Ben White and Timber can go to left back. And then for my final trick, we are going to take off Martinelli and we are going to bring on Mason Mount now. And we can't swap those two around. So Mount will play wide and Ezra will stay in the middle. And it's all good. So Mason Mount, if ever there was a man destined to make a huge difference in a match like this, 'twas Mason Mount. And he is the man nearest the ball when the highlight begins. There's 5 minutes left in the match. It's Chelsea with the ball. I am going to be very upset if we throw this away, because we played so well, particularly in that first half. But it's Garnacho on the left, finds Palmer, and João Pedro over the top to Esteval, who I don't think he started the match. I think he's just come on. And they're having a lot of attempts that look a lot like that one. And luckily, they're all missing. But there is the worry that they're going to score from one eventually. Right, we've tried the short goal kick. Timber plays it forward to Eza. And now here is the man himself, Mason Mount, charging down the left-hand side, goes past his fullback, floats it across, looking for Ranieri, can't find him. And that was a weird highlight, wasn't it, boys and girls? I've not got dynamic highlights on. I mean, it is a high-pressure game, but we're seemingly being shown something a little bit odd here, which is odd. But, I mean, Sanchez is just faffing around with the ball. There's some weird football being played by Chelsea here. Are we going to take the ball off them? Is that why we're seeing so much of this? Are they going to make a terrible mistake? Why do they keep playing that pass? Hato doesn't want it. I think he's made that very clear. Gives it to Garnacho. Oh, they're going to score a wonder goal, aren't they? All that knocking the ball around from the back, and they're going to go up the other end and score. Garnacho now on the left. White's trying to get across to him, but has just been... I mean, he's run past White as if he's not there, and Lavia with the header, which again, luckily, balloons over the crossbar. Chelsea have definitely had the best of this second half. I guess 1-1, if it ends 1-1, is a fair reflection of us dominating the first half and then Chelsea very much dominating the second half. Once again, the goal kick comes out to Timber to Mount. Mount turns, slides it into Eza. Eza turns and gives it back to Timber, and we're just calming things down a little bit. Timber, ball over the top for Mount. Mount tries to get past the fullback again. Fullbacks are worthless, aren't they? Every winger slides past the fullback every time they have the ball. If you're not using wingers, boys and girls, you are playing the game wrong. Gabriel comes across well to cover, but Esteval takes it off him. And Chelsea with the counter-attack to our counter-attack, which I believe was countering their previous attack. And Palmer shoots from range and once again misses in the same spot. I've got something tickling my throat. I just want the match to be over. I mean, we're happy. As it stands, we're happy. We'll take a 1-1. But the game is insisting on giving us another highlight. 30 seconds to go. It's Eza. Ball over the top for White, who's got some space here to run into. White tries to... I mean, the first time I've not seen a player go past a fullback all day, and we've given the ball away in a very key moment of the match. Costa's chasing back. He's not even properly got the goal covered. But luckily, rather than playing it into the middle where they had Cole Palmer waiting, they've decided to have another wild shot, and it ends 1-1. Like I say, 1-1 is a fair result. We would have taken it going in. We're back at the Emirates next week to try and win the tie. And fingers crossed, Spurs are going to do their bit against Man City in the meantime. But I'll meet you for the second leg. Well, Spurs have kept their half of the bargain, a 4-1 aggregate win over Manchester City, 3-0 on the night, 4-1 on aggregate. We just have to meet our side of the bargain and then hope. I imagine if we get there and I balls it up, I'm almost tempted to try and get knocked out now. It would be less damaging. And here is our team for the second leg with Gyökeres still not fully fit. Where is he? He's down here somewhere. There, Gyökeres still not fully fit. Ramos keeps his spot in the team. Lewis Skelly is fit enough to come back in and is needed because we might have to be using Hincapié later in the match for Gabriel, who has been injured midweek. He's not fully fit, but we kind of have to use him. So, yeah, it's going to be fine. Costa in goal, a back four of Lewis Skelly, Gabriel Saliba and Timber, Tchouaméni and Rice in midfield, Saka on the left, Odegaard on the right, Mason Mount in behind Ramos. Now, let me talk you through this one, boys and girls. Mason Mount has been fantastic since signing for this football club. If we have a little look at his form, 10 appearances, 3 goals, 4 assists, a 7.32 average rating. And the incentive to get one over on Chelsea. If it doesn't work, we can swap Odegaard back in there and we can get Martinelli on, or we can get Eza on in that position. We've got options, but Mason Mount, genuinely, what am I saying? He's been really good. And I really quite want the story of Mason Mount being the one who deals with Chelsea. So if it doesn't look like the story's going to go the way I want it to, we'll take him off. But for now, let's give it a bash after I've answered my door. Believe it or not, boys and girls, it was a package of Lego. If you want to see me unboxing that'll be on my Lego channel in about an hour's time. Cross promotion. We never do cross promotion, but That's how you find out what was in those two big boxes. But now let's focus back in on what we're supposed to be doing, which is dealing. Oh God, why am I playing Mason Mount? I forgot. It's like 10 minutes since I made a drink while I was downstairs at the door, and I'm now questioning everything. Why am I such a rascal? Right, here is Mason Mount. Plays it into Ramos. What a goal! Oh my word! And it's Mason Mount assist, I'll have noted. But what an absurdly good goal that is. Saka intercepts Mount, 1 touch, 2 touch, into the path of Ramos, who first time lofts it over Sanchez in goal for Chelsea. It's 1-0 to the Arsenal. It's 2-1 on aggregate. That is absolutely stupendous. Best goal I've scored in FM26 yet. More of that kind of thing, please. Oh, my goodness me. Right, now what's happened? Declan Rice is injured. That's less positive because obviously he's our captain and one of our best players. We do have Zubimendi down on the bench. It's a fairly common substitution that we make, but we don't want to be doing it after 18 minutes and forced through injury because, quite apart from anything else, if we're about to have a North London Derby Champions League final, we want our captain involved in it. But it is Chelsea now with the ball halfway through this first half. They obviously won't feel out of this tie yet. We were 1-0 up in the first leg and they dominated the second half of that match. So I think they'll think there's more in this for them. But Mount's got in behind again. It's Mason Mount. Squares it for Ramos. It's the dream partnership. Forget Odegaard and Gyökeres. Arsenal are going to win the Champions League this year with the Mount and Ramos partnership that nobody saw coming apart from this guy. Oh my word, 2 assists for Mount. I'm officially a genius. And Ramos, I mean, he's just a good striker, isn't he? He can do a little bit of everything. Genuinely, might be hard for Gyökeres to get back in the team based on the way Ramos has performed in his absence. So, absolutely delighted with that piece of January transfer business. You all thought I got my January window wrong. Turns out, sometimes one can do no wrong. Please don't balls up from here. Please don't balls up from here. Right. It is still the first half. Let's calm down a little bit. It's still 10 minutes to go before half time. And it is Chelsea who are knocking the ball around their back four once again, dragging us out of position a little bit. Timber he went chasing the ball, got halfway there, got stuck in no man's land, and they got in behind him. It's a little bit alarming, but luckily they're shooting very, very wayward, I think is the nicest way to put it. Well, I think based on that first half performance, the Mason Mount selection, 100% justified. Fully acknowledge, still absolutely bonkers to do. But sometimes you just have to be a little bit silly and hope it goes your way. Right, Lewis Skelly plays it forward to Saka. Remember, it's a World Cup year. Mason Mount's going to win the World Cup with England now. Superstar. What a player. He's rejuvenated, back in London. He just couldn't handle all the rain up in the north. That's why Manchester United didn't work out for him. Right, are we going to do another goal? I'd quite like to do another goal. I think at 3-0, Spurs won their second leg 3-0. So I think I would like to be as decisive as they were, because they've stuffed Man City there. That's worth noting that, yeah, it's going to be all fun and games having a North London Derby Champions League final, but Spurs have put in some good performances to get to this point, which is a little bit alarming. Right. How are we doing for fitness? Saka is not having neither Saka nor Odegaard are very much enjoying both being pushed out of position. So I think we're just going to take them both off. We'll bring Martinelli on the left-hand side, and Ranieri can come on the right-hand side, and it's fine. Take them off. We're officially resting them if they ask. Right, Gabriel attempting a long throw. We've been trying to push this all season long, and we haven't had a long throw that works yet. I would argue that one also didn't work. It's Gabriel and Saliba knocking the ball around on the edge of the Chelsea penalty area when we're 2-0 up with 20 minutes to go. Total football going on here. Saliba goes past one man, goes past another man. William Saliba is a winger. Who knew? That's why he was closing down that corner in the last match. That's even better than what Ramos did, because it's Saliba doing it. There he is, dancing past one man, surging past the second man, and then he just drives it across goal, across Sanchez, into the far corner. It's 3-0 on the night, 4-1 on aggregate, and we have got a North London derby Champions League final coming up in tomorrow's video, and that is sensational stuff. Right, Ranieri's going to take the corner. I don't remember scoring a corner in any of these videos either. It'd be nice to do one now just to show we can. William Saliba, boys and girls, decided he wanted to rob Ramos of his Man of the Match award, I guess. I mean, Saliba's got 2 goals in the Champions League this year. They've both been in the last 5 minutes of this game. Saliba's on a perfect hat-trick here. What's that? Right foot, header. If he can find a left footer in the last 15 minutes, what a way to book the Champions League final. A perfect hat-trick from your centre-back. That would be, I mean, save one for the final, but at the same time, I am keen to show off a little bit. Tchouaméni out to Timber. We should probably make our final 2 substitutions. Who's the tiredest players that we've got? Gabriel wasn't fully fit going in, so he needs to come off. Where's Hincapié? Where is Hincapié? There he is. So that's an easy change. And then I think we also, I'm gonna get minutes into Gyökeres. He can come on for Ramos. Try and get. I mean, we want him match fit for the final, even if he's maybe not going to start it. We'll make our minds up on that based on these last 3 or 4 league games. But I mean, that's great from Mount again. That's 3 assists from Mason Mount. I did warn you, for whatever reason. I don't know if Mason Mount is overrated at FM26 or if he just perfectly fits in with the way we want to play. But we've got Odegaard, we've got Eze, we've got Ranieri, and I mean, okay, Saka's actually done really well, but we've got a lot of players who play in those attacking midfield positions. None have been as effective in these first 11 matches of their career than Mason Mount has been. A 9 now for him. He's not scored, but he's going to get man of the match in a match where 2 other players scored twice. I said he'd be the man to deal with Chelsea, and he's absolutely dealt with Chelsea. Mason bleeping Mount, ladies and gentlemen. 5-0 on the night, 6-1 on aggregate. We'll see you in the final, Spurs. We're going to have a lovely time. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.